Chapter 91. Slime Battle, Wolf Centaur. It has the lower body of a wolf, upper body of a human. The slime's appearance now resembles a centaur. We stop our chase and face each other. The slime placed his hand on his head and muttered, "You come over here, the three of you." As if answering that call, a monster's roar could be heard. Perhaps he used magic wave transmission to call the reinforcements from nearby Maha wolves. You really are persistent. You leave me with no other choice, and what's with that scary look? Are you really against me dabbling in that village? Soon, I will seek out where the lizard which escaped earlier is hiding. I've been watching the direction where she was escaping to from the start, you know. This guy should never be allowed to set foot in that village. He performed the unforgivable act of instigating a dragon to lay waste to it. Milla is in the village, I promised Gregory too. More so, this monster will gather skills and become stronger if it is left alone. Living in the same forest, it's clear that eventually we are going to be targeted. The lives of the black lizard and the red monkeys will also be in danger. This guy absolutely cannot be allowed to roam freely in the forest. I already tried using a star drop to throw him to the bottom of the cliff. He somehow managed to climb up using a thread like nothing happened. He can also heal black lizards a special poison since he already copied her detoxification skill. However, it doesn't mean that I have exhausted all my options. I really don't want to do this, but it's my only choice.
Garuwate? Growate?
Garuwa. Along with the wolf howls, three-eyed blue wolves appear. Those must be the Maha wolves that the slime called earlier. Maha wolves move to the slime's side, glaring at me. They seem to be trying to look intimidating by showing their canines and howling. Even so, their levels aren't too high. With that HP value, one hit with my tail should be enough to stop them. He seems to be also aware of that fact, they are just disposable pawns in the end. The number of trouble I have to go through just increased. It seems their purpose is just to make an opening for him to attack. Status-wise, I have the advantage. However, the slime has more techniques than I do, he has some skills he hasn't used yet. These tricky tactics are just one of his skills. A frontal attack will shave off my HP without him needing to step in. The slime looked at the Maha wolves, and the two wolves come straight towards me. No, they aren't charging towards me. They split to the right and left, trying to outflank me. They're trying to do a pincer attack. What an unpleasant turn of events. I don't have much HP left. The slime is tough enough to beat me alone, I can't afford to get some extra damage here. I carefully watch both of their movements. While waiting, the slime called the nearest Maha wolf and placed his hand on its forehead. At that time, I thought he was going to take some skills from the Maha wolf, but looking at this guy's skills, he must have done that beforehand. His HP don't change, that means.
Mana drain, eh?
The slime's MP regen is much slower than his HP regen. Not only calling minions, but he also used a bunch of other skills in battle, his MP must be running low. Upon confirmation of his status, his MP is really low. Although it's somewhat pushing it, I should attack now. I thrust my arm and shoot Kamaitashi with my claw. The target is the slime's stretched arm. Since the distance between us is quite far, my attack is easily avoided. My main objective has been achieved, however, I managed to disrupt mana drain. I kicked the ground and flew towards the slime. The two Maha wolves at my back also pursue me. The slime and Maha wolves are getting closer to me from my left and right. According to their movements, they want to surround me with 4 fighters. I immediately land and keep an eye on the slime's movements.
Garuwa Eitsu.
From behind, one of the Maha wolves barks loudly, trying to distract my attention from the slime. Without looking, I swung my tail toward the source of the barking. It feels like I hit its nose with it. I don't know if it was a decent hit, but I think it's enough to put it out of combat. For the Maha wolf in front of me, I used Dragon Punch. The Maha wolf was sent flying with a Cayenne. That's 2 out, the next one should be another attack from behind. I swiftly take a glance towards the third Maha wolf. No, this is not good. I want to get a clean blow to the Maha wolf, but also avoid showing any opening to the slime by turning my back on him. I quickly do a 90 degrees rotation and found 4 bodies of Maha wolves in my sight. 4? Up until earlier, there was definitely only 3 Maha wolves. I immediately tried to check their status, but only 1 Maha wolf status appeared. Looks like when I glanced at the third Maha wolf, the slime took that chance to use his transformation skill and mixed himself in. I quickly look at the slime which transformed into a Maha wolf. He looks somewhat restless being cornered this far. At that moment, one of them tried to move to my back. It looks like they still have some plan to attack me.
Guyurugua 8
While retreating a bit, I used Paralyzing Claw to attack the wolf. When my nail hit one of them, the Maha wolf figure suddenly went out of shape and became translucent. As it deforms, it formed and poked countless spikes towards me. Both of my hands were caught in that attack. Aside from my arms, my stomach also got pierced. Withstanding the pain, I readied my fangs. I swung my tail, this time hitting the third Maha wolf directly. I glanced at the fallen Maha wolf's body. Its face was heavily disfigured, the body from the neck below was slightly convulsing and seemed to be almost completely crushed, while the sternum and its forefoot are clearly broken. Although it's not dead yet, I'm certain it's in no condition to fight. The time to counterattack is now. The slime's MP is now almost depleted. Currently he is in front of me with the appearance of a ball of spikes. The Maha wolves have been rendered powerless. Yes, this seems to be the best chance to end this battle.
Hear me, citizens of Earth.
There is a hideous plot afoot. An old evil has surfaced its ugly head, threatening the peace and prosperity of our great nation. The outdated and heretical forces which once plagued our land are on the rise, and we will not rest until our mighty country is secure from the clutches of evil. Do not fall for their pretty words and tempting promises. They bring only death and repression. All hail the Emperor. Governor Militant Erebus, Planet-Wide Communications Announcement. Chapter 92. I went and put the slime in an armlock. The slime spikes dug into my scales and pierced my muscle. Still, I kept my arms tight around the spiky ball. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the spiky ball's outer layer. It seems he formed a mouth in order to speak.
What do you think you're doing?
It's a shame I don't have the ability to speak in the human language, so I can't answer him. It's not like I was going to answer anyway, though. While holding the slime, I ran towards the cliff and started flying. When I flew up high, I detected a weak life signature yen on my sensors in my spaceship, which I promptly looked at. I could see a girl with orange, braided hair, holding a cane as tall as herself. If I'm not mistaken, she is an elfling Hayuma, and her name is Mariel. She looked at me with her mouth wide agape. What? Is she pursuing me? It doesn't look like it, but what else could she be doing out here? Anyway, she is not an enemy, I understand that much. Whatever her reason for being here, it's fine. If she is just going to watch the fight from the sidelines, there is nothing I need to do about her. The black lizard is over there too. She is looking at me while whimpering, obviously worried about me. Seems that braided girl run into each other. After all, Black Lizard is still worn out from the fight before. There is no helping it, I'm currently living in the forest. Eventually they will send someone to subdue me, whether it's the swordsman or the magician from before. After all, dragon scale powder is really a fearsome ability. However, being accustomed to life in the forest with my companions, I don't want to abandon it. Oi, what are you thinking, evil plague dragon? Shouted the slime. I'll ignore it and fly even higher. Midways, I felt fatigued and started to become unsteady. The slime's needles which struck my body were retracting and extending repeatedly. Hey slime guy, you sure you don't want to use mana drain or life drain instead? During the flight, I felt that his actual strength is only as strong as a kid. This might be the highest altitude I can reach. Next, I dove straight down as fast as I could. We are exactly above the cliff right now. It's too late to pull back now. I am no longer worthy of being called by the name Mila gave me, all because of this monster. Being called by that name seems I'll be forced to break my promise with Gregory TL? In this forest, in which I live with the red monkeys and the black lizard, there is no place for his slime. You're going to throw me to the bottom of the cliff again? It's the same move as before. Do you actually think I'm going to let you do it? The slime kept retracting and extending his needles, stabbing all over my body. Damn. At this rate, my HP will drop into the danger zone. This guy's physical attacks aren't too strong, though. I have to endure. In this position, you won't be able to throw me down. Sorry to disappoint you. Although if you didn't stand in my way I wouldn't have to kill you. Welp, anyways, that one-time deal has expired. Thanks to this position, I can attack as much as I like. I never thought after Little Rock Dragon, I could also get an evil plague dragon. Don't worry, I will put all of your skill to good use. With your dragon scale powder, I could even destroy that little village along with the monsters around it, said the slime proudly. As for me, being tangled like this is also kind of lucky. My only worry, that he might try to escape, has disappeared. That pride of his has dug his grave. I don't think there would be anyone to save him now.
Oi, what's so funny, why were you laughing?
As I put more strength in my grip, paralyzing claw halted the slime's actions and I continued to dive towards the cliff. Seeing as you managed to avoid star drop with a spider web, let's see how you fare against Nutcracker, a far more direct attack. Being pressed firmly to my body, there wouldn't be any possibility of avoiding a direct hit. Since I flew quite high, there is also quite a distance from the bottom of the cliff. A fall from this height would still cause severe damage, even with his damage mitigation skills.
What? Stop.
Are you also planning to throw yourself along to the bottom of the cliff? If that's so, not only me, but you will also receive collateral damage. Not even you will be okay if you slam towards that raging stream.
Stop.
Certainly, the river below has an amazing, unholdable current. Even using the slime as a cushion during the impact, the shockwave will reverberate along him and into my body. I will receive a huge damage one way or another. Since I won't have any energy to fly afterwards, I'll just get washed away with the currents. I won't know what will happen next. I might die, or I might get washed to the middle of nowhere, or perhaps I'm going to be stranded nearby. But that village won't be endangered by the slime since I already took some measure to prevent the villagers from going to the forest. That village won't need to live in a fear of an evil plague dragon, too.
Okay. I admit, it's my defeat.
I won't go near that village anymore, I will also leave the forest.
So please.
In the form of a ball of spikes, the slime frantically pleaded for his own life.
Like hell I'll believe that.
This guy will just return and cause disaster again, once he gained or surpassed my level of strength, if I let him live. No, stop.
Stop.
I can't die in a place like this.
Stop.
The slime got out of shape, the several mouth formed and start to speak nonsense to every direction. Ignoring it, I focused on the river below and aimed at one of the rocks visible on the river.
Jaya.
Not in this place. The slime spewed his spider thread towards the wall of the cliff. It seems he tried to reduce our falling speed by pulling us up and reduce the falling damage we would both incur.
Make it in time.
When it managed to reach the wall, I just used one of my claws to cut the slime's thread.
Yen.
Well, that's painfully easy, isn't it?
You. Stop.
Stood up.
I rush yao.
I changed my positioning and pushed the slime down with both my hands towards the rock. My HP will receive significant damage. If this attack goes well, I will be able to avoid direct impact. Though in this position I won't be able to accelerate well, it might provide some relief for the slime.
En weet wat.
Stop. I will do absolutely for you to stop.
Stop.
No matter what.
Whatever you want. Stop.
The mouth started saying various words repeatedly and randomly. But because of that, what he actually said was inaudible to me.
No.
Stop. Not in this place. I can't die.
God.
You promised to? TL sound effect a big bada boom. Now that the slime has been smashed into smithereens by me using the falling speed and my body weight, his words ceased to be heard at all. The rock also crumbled into small pieces of debris. My claws were cracked and severe pain could be felt piercing me from both of my hands. So that my body wouldn't get slammed into the rock, I used my leg to brace for the impact. The scales on my leg shattered and I felt the bones got distorted heavily. But it was worth it, I managed to repel my body into the air. Relieved at the moment, the recoil from the slime's tentacle remained, which still stuck to my body. It pulled me towards the remnants of the rock.
Guyuga Itsu.
Because of that, I hit my head and I felt my consciousness darken. Starting from my feet, my whole body started to get swallowed by the intense current. The slime's remains which stuck to my body slowly came off. This was the last thing I felt before I lost my consciousness. Start of encoded transmission, unknown sector, unknown location, unknown recipient. This transmission is for code Alpha Omega Epsilon. I am evading callsign Beta Beta Alpha. If any Federation cells are within reach, I will be available at the following coordinates redacted, for short bursts of information transfer that will contain some of the decoded material. This will happen every week or two from now on, I hope. To meet operational criteria, HQ must bring the new recruits up to speed, because I am not a reliable source of work for decoding these papers. My situation is far too perilous. Find the bladed dragons and any other mercenaries that will be willing to help. This war hinges on our ability to decode these documents. I would recommend initiating Protocol ZICCX sub decoding failed. Manual input necessary. Godspeed, gentlemen. Let not the empire of man devour your ambitions. We will have our freedom. End of transmission. Chapter 93. Translator, Drakuro.
T. N. Hey guys.
Sorry for disappearing for more than 5 months from translating this. Translating that slime battle really took a toll on me. Since it used so many difficult words as well as confusing line, it caused me to lose interest a bit in translating that part. So I'm really grateful to the other translator who's willing to fill in the blank chapters. Anyway, I'll try to do a few chapter now since I've got the mood back, and guess what? It's the dreaded side story. Which I hate. The Lalababa here speaks in old-fashioned way, using a washi and an enogia and all that crap. Just imagine Shiroyasha from Monday Jitachi, so it's really hard to translate. Luckily she stopped speaking to anyone halfway through this chapter. Since I have no idea how to include her speech pattern like other translator do, I'll just translate it as normal since it's a pain. Anyway, here's chapter 93. A certain half-elf's suspicion, sighed Mariel. White magic rest. With my shout, light comes out of the cane and wraps a blood-stained villager. The big wound that opened at the abdomen was blocked, and the complexion of the villager has somewhat softened along with his breath having calmed down. With this, that will be the last injured person with the risk of dying. Suddenly my view shook, and the bottle that I'm holding dropped as power left my hand. The dropped bottle shatters, and the slight remains of the green liquid left inside scattered. Mana potion. Although it's a medicine that recovers magical power, the side effects are big when taken in large amount. Worst case, you could even die if you drink too much in a day. Mariel-san, and me too, please let me use the medicine. There's still more in the house, right? Miria. My apprentice Miria runs up to me, who tries to stood up. It's a fact that if you exclude me, Miria is the only one in the village that is able to use white magic. Although the mana potion is useful when your own magical power is insufficient, let alone normal human, I can't give this to Miria, who's still a child. Not only will it stop your growth, it will also decrease your lifetime too. There's no more people who have fatal injury anymore. If you drink that, you will stop growing. Mariel? But Mariel-san's growth too. Miria. I stopped Milia's speech before she finished. My standing as a teacher will collapse if I let her say more than that. I need to hold my honor as the village elder. Though it's fine for me, such a carefree thing like that can't be said if you think about the village. Especially from now on. T. N. Can't really make a good guess for this paragraph. A dignified leader's existence is indispensable to rebuild a damaged village. Although there are not that many people aside from me that can use white magic, I heard news of someone taking advantage of one person among the few candidates to make her go out of the village. Though I'm a bit disappointed since giving advice might not be too effective given our age difference, I have no intention of stopping. However, I can't possibly argue more after hearing this. T. N. Sorry, still freaking hard to translate this one. I hate you, Lalababa. Stop treating me like a child. However, that medicine is expensive. If it's not for treating a person with fatal injury, don't ever think about using it just out of curiosity if you can't pay me 20,000 gjord. Mariel? I warned Miria with stern voice to decline her request. Actually, the value does reach that high if you buy it in a town. But I only buy the cheap material in town and collect the rest myself, and because I picked the expensive herb in the forest and compound it myself, the total cost is only about 1,000 gjord. I will pay, absolutely. In the future, when I became able to earn money. Pomerachan has been suffering all this time, so. Miria. Just when I remove my hands from her lips, I close it again. Truly, what a gentle child. Well, I can still use it about one more time. I will go see this Pomera. I want Milia to go to the house and take the ointment and bandage. Mariel?
Thank you very much.
Miria. Miria lowers her head and runs quickly. Now then, since I've promised, I need to get the mana potion again. Although it's impossible if I use the entire second bottle, there shouldn't be any problem if it's only half a bottle. Not to mention, this body can't manage to live for too long now. There's no regret even if it decreases a bit more. The important person are buried in the garden, so it seems like the grave count might increase to 3 there. I am a bit anxious, but I can't delay this. Although my physical condition is the worst right now because of mana potion, I can't leave this to other people since it's urgent. The pursuit of that dark dragon. Although I am interested in it, my intuition said considerable danger exists. The reason that I want to chase after it is also because my selfishness. That figure, although I've only seen the picture of it long time ago, could that be the evil plague dragon? I drink the mana potion as soon as I get back to the house and apply white magic to Pomera. After confirming that Pomera had recovered, I ask Miria and several other people to quickly gather some medical ingredients. After saying I will join you after I rest a bit inside the house, I secretly went out of the village. I applied magic to thin my presence and runs into the forest. Although Miria acts like she doesn't mind at all when she's almost killed by that dragon, I can't be depressed when I think about the state of the village. Deep inside though, it really bothers me. Even though it piques my interest, it doesn't change the fact that the dark dragon had killed a villager. If it becomes known that Miria was the one who brought it to the village, it will certainly worsen her standings among the villagers. Though it seems like I'm forcing it to the dead one, after shutting up a few people, it's been decided to spread the rumor that Gregory was the person who brought the dark dragon. It seems to be difficult for Miria to accept it, but it's certainly the best course of action if I think about the future. However, I need to confirm it before I close the case. There are only a few dead people for a disaster of this scale. One person got done in by the Maha Wolf that entered the village, one person was killed by doors, 3 people were killed by the rock dragon, and finally Gregory who got his neck split by the dark dragon. Although it's rude to be pleased by this, only 6 deaths can only be called a miracle. I confirmed Gregory's corpse after that, but his body was caught in the crack caused by the little rock dragon, which destroyed his body. When the neck is split, I had some doubt whether Gregory was still alive or not. I asked around for the injured person about the cause of their injury, but there are none who were attacked by the dark dragon. There are way too little damage for the notorious calamity called the evil plague dragon. Even when it tried to attack Miria. For it to miss from such a point-blank range, normally would not be possible. It is also strange for it to easily move backwards when I attacked only using magic of that degree. Even if I attack it with its weak attribute, it only hit the back of its hand. It is also possible that it is all just a coincidence. I've lived for a long time, so having encountered a coincidence in succession once in a lifetime is not unusual, I think. Still, I can't shake it. I've been hailed as the hero who defended the village, but won't this come and bite me later? She said something about imitating throwing a stone and have it repelled back, not sure if Japanese idiom or what. Please clarify in the comments if you knew. UPU? Marielle? The nausea comes when I run. I stop at once and use my hand to grab the nearby tree. It seems like I've drank too many mana potion after all. I lean against the tree to take a rest until the pain in my head goes down. Should I just go back today? That dark dragon too should have already entered the depths of the forest long ago. The degree of risk of the monster increases once I go to the interior. I can't use magic to erase my presence if my magic runs out. I need to recover first. When I make an excuse to myself and stood up, a loud sound was heard nearby. Is it a fight between large monster? I'd be an easy prey if I got caught up in it. After thinking about going back to the village, I stopped my foot. This is the shallow part of the forest, not a place where the large monster would be. I think about the dark dragon from a while ago, and when I turn around, I heard sound making me looks up. In the air, the previous dark dragon can be seen to fly up. It holds the monster of infinite form, the slime tightly in its hand. The dark dragon is flying right up towards the sky before suddenly making a sudden turn. And just like that, it dove straight down towards the bottom of the cliff. I run towards the edge of the cliff, looking at the bottom of the cliff. Could the dark dragon have been swallowed by the flow of the river? I can no longer see its appearance. When I look up, my eyes met with a large lizard who's also looking towards the bottom of the cliff. The large lizard seems to lose interest in me as it once again moved its glance towards the river ahead. Chapter 94. A certain orange monkey's house sitting side orange monkey. 5 days have come and goes after boss disappeared. I've improved in pot making that the boss had taught me. Because boss is not here, I'm having a hard time creating fire. I managed to substitute it with flaming Garo which I caught. My hair burnt when I fail at handling it though. Google image shows that Garo is some kind of frog or a freaking huge toad. I copied the weapon and protective gear that I've seen the humans had a long time ago. It's not popular among my friends because it's heavy. You need to be hard and strong. Only I'm the one who use it during hunting. Since I can't move well because of the protective gear, cooperative work can't be done and I got kicked by my friend. It doesn't hurt because of the protector. That fellow cried while holding his foot. Protective gear is good. Everyone should wear one. Aside from hunting and needing the clay, I'm looking for boss all the time. 4 of us search and turn around the cave. However, currently no clue at all. I've been worried about the boss, but Inigo does not partake in the search at all. Surely Inigo knows something naturally. Still, she didn't tell me. Rather, she's curling up at the corner of the cave all day long. Occasionally, she thrust her head into the poison jar, letting out her rage. Inigo here not just mean older sister or female leader of a gang, but also boss's wife, wink. I look up into the sky. It's red, meaning the day is almost over. Should I quickly go back to the cave entrance? I got nothing today too. I dropped my shoulder in disappointment as I returned back on foot towards the cave entrance. The other 3 returns earlier than me. All the other member had the gloomy face. Ow? When I ask, all the other 3 shake their head. All the other also have no result. I look at the cave while letting out a sigh. Suddenly, I noticed something. Usually Inigo shuts herself after boss was gone, but her figure can't be seen. I look at the other 3, but they also looks at the cave with their neck inclined. Kishii. Inigo can be seen rushing here from the direction of the cliff. I have never seen Inigo getting panicked in anything not related to boss though. Did something serious happen? Did she found boss? It would be a pleasure if boss was found. I look at Inigo, she is staring at the statue near the cave entrance. The statue of a human. Could she possibly wanted to become human? Inigo stops by the tree that is used to hung the meat and scratch at the trunk. I was wondering what she wants to do. She looks at us and goes a kishii at us. You want me to help? I remove the meat from the tree and go back into the cave. Putting the meat in a jar, I then returns to the cave entrance with 4 shovels. I distribute the shovels to the other orange monkeys and proceed to cut down the meat tree. Inigo makes a satisfied face and move to the roots of another tree. I have no idea why are they cutting tree with a shovel. That's like eating spaghetti with spoon. Do you want to cut down both? When I hesitate since I don't understand her intentions, Inigo goes and bared her fangs. Inigo's fang which is full of poison. The only one who can stop her, the boss, is not here. I might be bitten. I remove the meat from another tree and returns to the cave. Moreover, when I go out again, the other 3 is cutting the tree. The works are divided, with 2 cutting the tree and the other 2 carrying it to the cave. We also need to dig the remaining roots with the shovel. I was in a daze for a while, but Inigo brought me back by lightly hitting me in the back with her tail. I also need to dig up the roots since I have a shovel too. The tree roots are also brought back into the cave. After digging, the soil is also taken. All of this are Inigo's instructions. After that we continue to follow Inigo's instructions. I also need to carry the stone statue and put it inside the cave. It's heavier than I thought, so I dropped it once. It doesn't break. But the boss is going to be angry as he finds out. Part of the fur on the cave floor is ripped and made dirty with all the soil. All this is also Inigo's instruction. Boss is going to be seriously angry if he finds out. I'm getting troubled here whether I should follow her instructions all the way. Boss barks a lot but doesn't bite. However, Inigo will bite without any barking at all. For the time being I decided to hung the fur dirted by the soil. Following Inigo's instructions, the fur dirted by the wet soil is fixed to the upper part of the cave entrance. After I look at it from the outside, I finally understood. When you look from the outside, the dirty fur looks like a wall of soil hiding the cave entrance. With this, we don't have to worry about incoming foreign enemy. However, we can still easily go in and out. Perhaps Inigo wants to avoid the humans with this. Hence, the tree that dried the meat as well as the statue were concealed inside. Inigo sure is smart. A bit scary but reliable. When I enter inside and eating the meat served from the jar, I heard the footsteps of humans approaching. The number seems to be about 4. The first voice seems to be puzzled, on the other hand the other voice seems amazed. One of the humans seems to think that there should be something here. However, the other companion seems to rebuke that person. The monkey refers to the human as ninjin, which is Japanese for human, but this one is written in katakana which is used for foreign words. The voice of the humans continued for a few minutes. They finally left, leaving only one of them near the cave, and that human too starts chasing after the other three. They doesn't seem to have noticed us. I get anxious and runs up to the entrance, trying rolling up the fur to see the outside. But I was stopped by Inigo, so with the state as it is, I decided to sleep. The cave quickly darkens when you cover the light-producing mushroom with the fur. If someone did that, no one should make a noise until it becomes bright again. That's the rule here. Morning. Since it's not possible to notice the rising sun because of the camouflage fur, today starts a bit later than usual. The figure of Inigo is not seen anywhere. The other three and I panicked and went outside of the cave. Out of the cave, there, Inigo stood absent-minded. When she looked at us, she called with a Kishia sound. And somehow I understood. Inigo decided to search for boss far and wide. Surely with that intention. When I get near to accompany her, she just shakes her small neck. If the boss, as well as Inigo who's the boss substitute, were both gone, we're going to have a problem. When I'm worried about that, Inigo turns to face the cave and bark with a small Akishia. I will come back with boss one day. Until then, defend this place. To me, it sounded like she had a small giggle when she said that.
A. Ow.
AAA.
I step forward from the other three who tried to persuade Inigo and bows my head to her. When the other three saw my action, they stopped their cries and also bowed. Seeing us like this, Inigo released a small relieved nod and left quietly. After the figure of Inigo can no longer be seen, I look back at the cave. During the absence of boss and Inigo, I will look after this cave. I will expand and strengthen it. Fill it with lots of weapon. I will fight against the other crowds and make them our subordinate, increasing our war potential. I'll manage it so that when boss and Inigo return, they will be pleased. If I make weapons, I won't be defeated by other orange monkeys. Welp, had to say I had way too much fun translating this chapter. Halfway translating, I thought our princess here is throwing a tantrum like a someone just getting divorced. Turns out she's the best waifu material after all. Not to mention the monkey is way smarter than expected. P.S. Heads up to anyone wondering when our MC will be back, that's going to be after 2 more chapters. Next chapter will be about that female adventurer POV again, and after that a short monster encyclopedia. Again, I won't promise when they'll be finished. Chapter 95. A certain female swordsman's failure, sighed Meltia. The me who brings 3 of my companion including Yuno was dumbfounded. The high tower which was there before is gone and the total number of buildings decreased too. Not to mention, the terrain had changed here and there too. There seemed to be an uproar some way or another at the center of the village.
Oi, this are we too late?
Daz, the bowman mutters in a low voice. However, it's totally different from our concern. Since I found what seemed to be a bandit hideout in the forest, I gathered my friends thinking of the possibility that they might attack the village. However, I can't remove this helpless feeling when my assumption turns into reality. I should have been able to deal with this crisis if Yuno and I prolong our survey and stayed here. The damage might be considerably reduced then. After catching up to a villager and hearing the story, it seems like 2 medium-sized dragons somehow appeared in the village and started fighting at the village center. This disastrous scene can be said to be the result of their fight. One of the dragons lose the fight and die, while although the other one won, the injury it receives was deep, making it crashed into the bottom of the cliff, assumed to be dead. Not to mention with the appearance of a human that should have died appeared in the village and act violently, some speculation like zombie or poison mushroom flew about. Thus, I remembered about the necromancer theory that I refused before. Although I was convinced that it's different since the village's graveyard was not damaged, by all means the possibility still exists if I hear about a zombie. Don't tell me, did those thieves gain a necromancer? The risk is too high when such a dangerous monster is used. No, won't they still do it considering their group of outlaws who doesn't think of the consequences? I brought the other 3 and visit Marielle's residence. If it's her, I should be able to grasp the village's circumstances without being confused with any superstition. She doesn't stay in the village for a long time just for show. That dignified presence is one of the things I wish to have. Since the residence is empty, I look for Marielle around the village. She seems to be at the village's assembly hall. One way or another the assembly hall seemed to be turned into a refuge place for the people who lost their place to sleep, as well as a treatment place for the injured. Marielle is using the white magic on the surrounding injured people. When our eyes met, Marielle stops. If it isn't Meltia who visited the village before, Really? She doesn't say anything about the request. Last time, the secret request done by us to avoid causing confusion to the villagers was asked by this Marielle. We changed place as the full story will be heard at Marielle's office. However, there was no great difference between the provided information and the rumors from the villagers. Though Marielle seems to be hiding something, it doesn't seem like we will be able to find out by questioning her. I confirmed the rumor from the villager through Marielle and hear her opinion of each one. After the talk ends, I bring out the story about what seems to be a group of bandits hideout and asked permission to enter Noah's forest. However, Marielle won't officially give out her permission, giving the condition that we enter the forest without permission. She wants to spread the opinion of the guardian spirit of the forest is angry because there are many people breaking the rule of the forest as some kind of excuse for the abnormal situation that had occurred. The villagers will calm down a bit if they know of the cause, and it will totally be killing two birds with one stone if the number of people entering the forest decrease. Actually, a man named Doors rejected the superstition, and this chain of abnormal events seemed to begin when he forcibly enters the forest. Therefore it seems like it cannot be known to the villagers that a person of Marielle's standpoint giving permission to some adventurers to enter the forest. When I was going to leave the residence, I stopped by Marielle.
There is one request, Jaya. Since this might be good for you, why don't you hear it?
Marielle. When I looks back, Marielle was no longer sitting on her chair. Do you remember Milia?
During our previous meeting, she was the child in this room, Jaya?
Marielle. I recalled the last time when I hear the name. I surely remembers there was a girl when I came. She was an innocent-looking girl with the bob-cut hairstyle, with a beautiful skin like a doll. That child, she said she wants to travel. I want you to take care of her for a while, Jaya. It's also good to teach her the common sense of the outside world. I totally welcome it. If you really need to think about this, I'm also fine with you giving me the answer after having talked with Milia first.
Marielle.
If you exclude Marielle, Milia is the only one who practices white magic in the village. From the village's point of view, you would not want to let such a talent to get outside of the village as much as she can. Does this trip has any specific purpose? Although I've heard some rumor that Milia is the real person who brings one of the dragon into the village, if it is her fault will they drive her out of the village? However, it's hard to think that is the reason when I see Marielle's expression. Although I don't mind having to particularly take care of inexperienced white mage, it's bad to answer without knowing the full circumstances. I should really decide this after meeting the person in question after all. Then, I'll decide about it after I search the forest. Meltia. Saying that, I went out of Marielle's house. We go to the place where it's okay to say that we got Marielle's permission and proceed into the forest. Though we got attacked by a lump of clay shaped like a wolf, spider or bear, as expected the stability is different with 4 people. The bow user Daz starts the preemptive strike with poison arrow, while Yuno finished the job with her hammer when the enemy flinched after getting pierced. I come close from the other side to pursue with the sword or light magic, and then at the end of the battle recover with the healer Romina's white magic. Previously we had to run away when we met with the small evil plague dragon, but right now we should be able to face it with our current party. Really though, Meltia. Is there really a bandit hideout in such a place?
Daz?
Don't blame me, he speaks like that. When we make a detour to pass over the cliff, Daz asked me that question. Yeah, I've seen it before. We should arrive at the place I said soon. I have confidence in my memory. Please be at ease, Meltia. I've been thinking about this when I heard the story from you. You know about the large merchant from this continent. There's no movement, none. If 5 parries of such a huge amount in jars were to disappear, don't you think it's strange that there's no commotion at all?
Nah, is it really 5 parries?
Daz? If you already did that much investigation, you should have been able to tell me. Well, we don't know whether they ran here from another continent giant? If the 5 parries was smuggled, it's also going to be bad for them if the public knows about it, thus having no desire to make it any worse. However, when I hear the conversation of the villager and see the forest, as I thought, somehow, it's something entirely different. Daz? Daz grows up as an orphan in a dangerous town. And it seemed like he had worked with an organization involved with the mafia before. He knows at least that much about that kind of particular details. If he says something is different, it could be about the place not suitable for being a bandit's hideout or the sense of something missing about this situation, it would be that kind of thing. Though Daz talks with light tone, he's not a man who say pointless things. It might be because he grew up where the value of life is pretty light. However, the fact is I did saw Phi Perry's. There's no doubt in that regard. For sure, it's the smell of Phi Perry's. Had seen it too, right? Meltia. No, for Chan, that's the first time for me to see such quality goods you see. Did you know that we are so poor that my mother almost sold me, so I had to run away from home? I had to grill father's boots to eat it. At that moment, I wonder if it would have tasted better if I had smeared it with Phi Perry's While twitching her dog ears, answers so proudly for some reason. The atmosphere around me and the other dropped suddenly when such a heavy story came out lightly like that. Although the person herself think proudly about it, I want you to stop it because it's hard for us in various ways.
Ah. No, sorry.
For me too, I've never get to experience any luxury goods. There, the cave should be at the corner, there, Meltia. I run, however, although I have arrived at the place with the cave before, there is nothing there. There is no significant stone statue, the tree with meat stuck on it is also not there. Is it not here? No, that can't be. What's the matter, Meltia?
Y.
Last time, the cave was around here, right? Right? Meltia.
NNN.
Chan thinks she is not sure about her memory. But could it possibly be a little deeper inside? Though I do think it's possible. No, however. I can't think of another place if it's not here. Nah, did you really see it for sure? Although I do think it seems to be strange, I still believe in the story, although not in full scale. Are you sure you're not dreaming?
Daz
said that to me with an angry look.
And no, but it should have been around here.
There's a tree with meat pierced on it, there's a statue, Meltia.
Oh, is that so?
For the time being, I'll go search for other places. I can't really just stop here.
Daz?
Yes, Chan here will be your guide now, okay, eh? For sure, no problem even if we go deeper. Seriously, Meltia, being a klutz is really your strong point, did you really see me like that too? No, now is not the time to be pondering about that. Why, please wait a moment. Around here. It was definitely around here. Meltia. Oh, just follow us soon. We'll be going ahead, Daz. With as the guide, Daz follows afterwards. Romina looks troubled between me and but after saying sorry in a small voice, she also ran after Though I have no idea why she's apologizing, since there is no use of me remaining here alone, although I hesitated, I decided to chase after the three. Chapter 96. Translator, Drakuro. T.N. I have no idea why the author decided to put this as CH96 instead of just extra. Well, whatever floats, I guess. P.S. Keep in mind that I had no idea what's the official name for the monkey. Sing means orangutan, so no way I'm putting that here. I had no idea why I make it into orange monkey. I think previous translation said it's orange, not sure. Anyway, since this chapter properly describe it as vermilion in color, I'll just go with red monkey. It's way cooler than orange anyway. I'll change the previous translation if I feel like it, probably not, since I'm lazy AF. So I hope other editors can do that. Monster Encyclopedia. The monster's level is from the time at battle with our protagonist. When he encountered two or more of them, the level is set to the one that he had found first. Because it was difficult to put all the status, the average status has been described as a combat ability. T.N. Talk about lazy. Ever heard of Control plus C and Control plus V? Race Darkworm. Rank F. LV 3/8. Combat ability 6. Large green caterpillar with malicious spotted pattern. Famous for ruining the flower garden as well as stealing birds' eggs. Although it is said that dark worm will evolve into a beautiful butterfly if it grew up eating dragon's egg, since most of them will be torn apart on the spot, the example are almost none. Race Grey Wolf.
Ranke.
LV 8/15. Combat ability 8. They basically act together, hunting in a group. Have a habit of becoming more ferocious with the increase in numbers. If fought and suffer defeat, a follower will run away as a decoy while the leader and the other run away in different direction. However, most of them were annihilated. Nature is heartless. Race Slime. Rank F+. LV 6/15. Combat ability 7. Transparent green monster with infinite form. It's possible for them to live with only water and weed. With its transformation ability, it can borrow the appearance of other monsters. However, since the color doesn't change, there's no meaning to it. Rarely because or of mutation, sometimes blue slime with special skill might appear. However, since it will be thrown away by its parents as soon as it was born while hardly being able to move, it mostly becomes the meal for other monsters. Race Terran Rouge. Rank D. LV 17/30. Combat ability 7-2. Huge, poisonous red spider. It is not too poisonous. The prey caught in its web will be weakened with the poison. It will abnormally do anything it can to destroy the person who did harm to it. There is a story of the one where it chased after an escaping adventurer and died after jumping into the river and drowned. Race Vase Turtle. Rank D. LV 9/35. Combat ability 4-6. Turtle with a shell covering its vital point. As it specializes in defense, its attack power is low. However, since it has a strong skilled slow, carelessness is forbidden. If they are provoked, they will call many companions, casting multiple slow will obstruct your action causing you to be ganged up. Race Vase Turtle King. Rank C. LV 24/55. Combat ability 141. High defense, as well as great recovery skill, even first-class adventurer have difficulty defeating it. However, its movement is slow as usual, not to mention it is normally gentle. It's a normal strategy for adventurer to quietly run away, not to stimulate it when they met it. Race Clay Bear. Rank D+. LV 24/55. Combat ability 101. 500 years ago, a golem created from an alchemist gained the power of the Demon King. Not only it has a strong power, it also has high regeneration ability. It is not certain whether its feature is the alchemist's prank. After the death of the alchemist, although most of it returns to the soil, its appearance can still be seen in certain part of the outlands. Race Venom Princess Lesserda. Rank D. LV 19/35. Combat ability 9-1. Shooting poison and then runs away, it's a cunning monster that will collect the meat after the prey is exhausted. Eating poisonous thing, it has the ability to create strong poison inside its body. Its body fluid has the power to detoxify the poison, so treatment may be asked in exchange for its life if they are caught. Race Twin Head. Rank D+. LV 39/45. Combat ability 146. Demon Hound with 2 heads. With balanced status, the role is divided between combat and support between the left head and right head. It tends to have a completely opposite character as they are overwhelmed by the ego of each other. However, they doesn't strongly fight against each other, as they will be easily driven to a corner if they always fight each other. Race Red Monkey. Rank D. LV 17/30. Combat ability 7-6. Monkey-like monster with long vermilion hair. With its high intelligence, it can skillfully coordinated techniques with their companions. Race Great Red Monkey. Rank D+. LV 27/40. Combat ability 1-9. The next evolution for the red monkey who is recognized as the head after winning the duel. Excluding this method, the red monkey has no other way to evolve into Great Red Monkey. It might be related to the evolution, as a red monkey never refuses a duel. Moreover, it contains lots of support magic to help its group. Race Mahawolf. Rank D. LV 9/28. Combat ability 5-0. A blue wolf with 3 eyes. With magic like an electric wave, it have the power to share their field of vision and thoughts with their companions. High intelligence with bad personality. For some reason it always aimed for the grey wolves before they could evolve. Race Little Rock Dragon. Rank C. LV 24/55. Combat ability 161. Dragon with an appearance like a rock. High defensive and recovery ability. Though usually gentle, it won't forgive anyone who does harm to it. Race Forte Slime. Rank D. LV 27/35. Combat ability 7-9. It absorbs the vitality of other monsters, turning them into food. However, it became defenseless when it absorbs something with no way to attack. Moreover, even though it can change the color, it can't be maintained for long since the mana consumption is intense. Chapter 97. Seaside. My consciousness slowly returns. It seems like I've been sleeping for a good amount of time. My eyelids are heavy. My body joints are painful and sore. I can't move my hands and feet. When I put some power to move, cracking sounds can be heard. Is this useless? Although the pain is not really there, somehow there's an unpleasant feeling to it. This feeling is going to stick for hours or days even. I open my eyes after I can feel my joints again. The blue sea spread in full view. It seems like from the river I was drifted to the sea and then somehow got here to the beach. For the time being, should I be glad to still be alive? While my head is still clear, let's confirm my status. It won't be a joke if some of my skills are gone because of the slime. I rush ya. Race Evil Plague Dragon. Status Normal. LV20/75. HP 249/249. Mepe 192 192. Attack 239. Defense 178.
Mana 164.
Speed 161. Rank B. Characteristic Skill. Dragon Scale, LV5 God's Voice, LV4 Gurisha Language, LV3. Flight, LV5 Dragon Scale Powder, LV4 Dark Attribute, LV. Evil Dragon, LV Auto HP Recovery, LV3 Presence Sense, LV2. Resistance Skill. Physical Resistance, LV4 Fall Resistance, LV5 Hunger Resistance, LV4. Poison Resistance, LV5 Loneliness Resistance, LV6 Magic Resistance, LV3. Dark Attribute Resistance, LV3 Fire Attribute Resistance, LV2 Fear Resistance, LV2. Oxygen Deficiency Resistance, LV3 Paralysis Resistance, LV2. Normal Skill. Roll, LV6 Status Check, LV5 Scorching Breath, LV5. Whistle, LV1 Dragon Punch, LV3 Plague Breath, LV3. Poison Fang, LV3 Paralysis Claw, LV3 Dragon Tail, LV1. Roar, LV1 Star Fall, LV2 Nutcracker, LV3. Human Transformation Technique, LV3 Kimaitashi, LV1 Neck Breaker, LV2. Title Skill. Son of the Dragon King, LV Walking Egg, LV Klutz, LV4. Fool LV Edimfighter, LV Nate Bestkiller, LV Harum. Liar, LV2 Evasion King, LV1 Spirit Relief, LV5. Tiny Hero, LV5 Path of Evil, LV6 Disaster, LV5. Chicken Runner, LV2 Chef, LV3 Mean King, LV4. Guts, LV2 Big Eater, Giant Killing LV1 Ceramic Craftsman, LV4. Boss of the Crowd, LV1 Laplace Interference Authority, LV1. However, no matter how many times I see it, my power really jumps up a lot compared to the last time I seen it. T.N, his LVL before slime battle is 19, but he doesn't check his status at all after he defeated the Rock Dragon, so his last stats that he see is at LVL 1. From rank D I skipped the rank C and jumped straight to rank B. My attack power in particular rises a lot. The value had break through the 200 points and leave it behind. I can now clash head-on against the little rock dragon that I'm having trouble with previously. I can't particularly see any skills that had decreased. I know that I can be relieved for the time being. If my roll skill disappears, I don't think my heart can take it. It's not an exaggeration to say that Roll Sand is already my companion. It's a skill that contains the memory of me and the Black Lizard after all. The normal skill Nutcracker went up to LV3 while the title skill Tiny Hero went up to LV5. My own LV rises too. I really want to see the experience value added when I defeated the slime. I try to remember the behavior of the slime that I seems to have forgotten after the long sleep. Although there was no room to think carefully during the battle, I noticed a few things about that fellow. It seems like sometimes it behaved like a human, talking about skill, numerical value and increased resistance, almost like it knows about the existence of status. The decisive point is that even though the fellow doesn't understand the danger of the Black Lizard, it immediately moved to steal the detoxification skill from the Black Lizard as soon as it was poisoned. T.N, the human he mentioned here is basically the human from Earth, talking about scientific things like that. Among all of those enormous amount of skills that the fellow had, I think there was a skill-like status check. By chance, did it also has God's voice? Although it was hard for me to catch what it said at the last moment, I think I heard it mutters something like God. If I think about the character and behavior of the slime, seeing as how that good-for-nothing fellow treated that false god with respect. Just what did it see in that guy? T.N, can't really translate this part well. Did the slime also keeps the memory of its previous life the same as me? However, when I check on that guy in the old times at the cave, I don't think he had status check skill. If it's not an ability that it was born with, could that thing obtain the skill by chance? Considering what happens, I'm pretty sure about that. Since the other side could also check my status, it should have known that I also have God's voice, but it doesn't seem like it have any intention to attempt to communicate to exchange information at all. Perhaps God's voice favors it, so it doesn't have to worry about information as all of it has been provided? However, since I've already defeated it, I don't think I'll be able to check this speculation. Everything that I could think of will be nothing but a speculation in the end. How did it controls doors, why I can't read its status properly, all of this will remain a question. Did the slime evolve into something evil because of the influence of God's voice, which is possible if you think about what happens when God's voice, shows its true characters? What is its real purpose for taking part in all of this? Though it did send me the message with that attitude, I doubt whether the other party really had a personality. Seriously, who is that guy God's voice? Characteristic skill God's voice, LV4 cannot give an explanation. Is that like your favorite word? Though it seems like it can give a systematic explanation, it's going to be a long time before it can give me an answer. I've been rambling nonstop, but it's not going to do anything if I just rambling on by myself. Well, for now I should think about how to proceed from now on. If a same fellow like the slime came out, I should first find out whether it's friendly or not before I proceed to question it. Anyway, right now I should give priority on investigating the place around here. Mainly securing the base and food. With my current build, it might be necessary to procure 3 times the normal amount of food. I've also getting really hungry because I've slept for too long. The easy to hunt as well as delicious kind of monsters are always welcomed. Chapter 98. New Land. I begin to run using roll along the sea of the new land, continuing for 1 hour. The scenery around me is really strange. On the left side I can only see the sea all the way till the end, while on the right side is the naked earth full of sand. Is it a special geology, or is it because of the bad air current from the sea resulting in no rain? There's no trees growing at all. It became a desert even when it's so near the sea. Even if there's a plant occasionally growing up, it looks just like those cactus one. Even the cactus, it's grown a real thick green hair-like needle, and it looks like it's crawling on the ground since it can't stand its own weight. It looks like a grown hairy fat caterpillar, giving it a really unpleasant feeling. You might even mistook it as some kind of dark worm if you don't see it carefully. Even though I can see living creature here and there, the camel has 3 heads with seaweed covering its body. There's also a group of giant red ant forming a line, so it's not really something that stirs my appetite, frankly speaking. Not sure about the camel, might change later once I see the data sheet. When I look at the sand-colored centipede, which is 4 times longer than me, it really makes me want to just jump back into the sea. Without the time to do anything, the other side seems to start running somewhere chasing after a monster looking like a leopard. With short, innumerable foot, it fiercely moved dispersing the sand nearby. Although it's possible to get away if I used roll, if we compare the basic speed it's definitely above me. I wonder what rank is this large centipede? I think it should be around rank B. However, I should not group this monster the same as the one from the forest. Crap, I really want to go back to the forest real bad. Currently, I should find a place that has edible-looking creature and set up base there. In this dry vacant land, there doesn't seem to be any place for me to hide my body from monsters at all. I should dig up a hole somewhere and create the sleeping place there. Furthermore, when I use roll to search around, I managed to find a spectacle of rocks arranged together shaping a big Japanese yen. It's like a huge, 5-meter radius Japanese yen. Not just 1 or 2, but more than 10 are arranged in the surroundings. I'm feeling goosebumps just from seeing this. What the heck is this thing? Pretty sure this is a nest of some nasty monsters. Should I turn back? I cancelled roll to observe it, and seeing the rock inside the circle, I understood that some kind of magic circle was drawn. This thing, it's not the work of monsters but man. When I twist my head around, I notice that there's barely any monster found in the vicinity. Is it some kind of talisman warding evil? Among all of these rocks, some of them can be easily moved. As it's hard to avoid monsters here, is there a village protected beyond this rocks? I notice that I've been hoping to meet a human dwelling here, thus I shakes my head to remonstrate myself. Currently, I am a monster. Although I might look a bit cute as a baby dragon, my current appearance is completely that of the enemy of mankind. If I see the explanation before the evolution, evil plague dragon is the type that human really scared of. Even if I didn't enter the village, it would be a huge panic just from being seen, and the uproar might even destroy the lifestyle over there. There's also the dragon scale powder too. Turning back, I used roll to go back from where I came from. I run towards the arranged rocks, cancelling roll after I slightly neared it. Regretfully, I really wanted to confirm even if it's only the appearance of the village. If I can step on top of the magic formation, even if I can see the other side, there might not be an uproar. Kicking the ground, I fly high above, turning my vision towards where a village is supposed to be. Continuing land can be seen after the arrangement of rocks, and further ahead, high stone wall can be seen. Lots of buildings can be seen on the other side of the wall. It should be more than 10 meters in height. Is it so that no monster can go in? There's also the magic rock formation too. Since I'm only feeling a bit uncomfortable from it, there might be other monster that can get over it too. Not just the height, but the area it covers are huge too. This is no longer at the scale of a village. It's a city. On the other side of the high stone wall, I managed to catch a glimpse of a showy flag on the upper part of a building. The inside seems to be very lively. I burst out laughing when one of my machine translated as gay flag instead. I get down on the ground, walking towards the opposite direction. Looking at the vast extending empty land that will continue to expand in the future, I felt much lonelier than before. If it's like this, it would have been better if I hadn't seen it. No, what are you doing getting depressed for? I had already decided to continue living a lonely life as a dragon. Dragon scale powder should disappear depending on my next evolution. As long as I continue raising Tiny Hero without getting depressed, I might be able to turn into a better race from now on. Once I turn like that, it might even be possible for me to return to that forest again. The human transformation art skill has also leveled up as well.
It's LV3 now.
If I continue using it repeatedly, it might be possible for the appearance to be more humane. My maximum MP also increased with my LV up, so I can maintain it for a longer duration. The MP consumption for human transformation art is roughly around 1 MP per second. Because my current maximum value is 192, it would be empty in just a little over 3 minutes. However, if I continue to evolve, if I can increase my maximum MP to around 600, I can turn into human for 10 minutes. Though I don't understand how accurate the real number really is, in case I manage to get auto MP regeneration like the slime, even if I don't raise my maximum MP, I should be able to increase the effective time considerably. If it's 10 minutes, not only can I talk to Traveler, it might even be possible for me to enter the village to see the situation. While continuing doing that, it would be possible for me to know the circumstances of the other side after doing it for some times. Alright, there's still hope. For the future purpose, I need to increase my maximum MP as well, removing the Evil Dragon status. Although I felt like I'm already on the straight path for Evil Dragon, I'll manage somehow. I really want to believe that. If there's 360,000 MP, I'll be able to turn human for 100 hours. Don't give up me. Chapter 99. For the sake of delicious food. I returned back to where I came from to leave the arranged rocks magic formation. To make the base, as well as avoiding unnecessary trouble, I should make it far away from the city. If I was carelessly discovered, they might even create a subjugation core for me. However, foolishly setting up base here, is it okay? Well, there should be plenty of people leaving the city. If I build a house in a place that will be discovered by the humans, there's the possibility that they will get scared and attack in great numbers. Should I dig a hole somewhere after I'm far enough? However, if I do it badly, there's a chance that I'm going to be buried alive while I'm asleep. To begin with, are my eyes even good in the dark? If there's no light mushroom grown around here, I'm screwed. If the cave and underground are useless, should I make my base somewhere high? Though in the forest I could do it on the tree, but there's nothing here. Well, while thinking about the roof on my head is good, should I focus on securing food for now? Currently, one of the possible edible food is the 3-head camel. The appearance is a bit severe, but it's way better than the large centipede and the red ant, which is no better than eating pile of sand. Not to mention, there's that leopard being chased by the large centipede too. Does it taste better than the 3-head camel? However, when I look at it before, that leopard-like monster seems to be at the bottom of the food chain here. What the heck is wrong with this place? That's kind of like a message for me whether I should really settle down in a place like this. This place is far more dangerous than the forest. Though it might be a good place to raise my LV. Well, I should get the rough idea once I check the status of the monster around here. First of all would be the most noticeable cactus that looks like a hairy caterpillar. Life here would be considerably easier if this thing is edible. The thorns were also thin, having no effect on my scale. Knowing there's plant like the fly trap, I carefully approach while thinking there might be a chance that it's a monster, and then I touch it. The thorns bend without sticking to my hand. Yep, it seems to be safe. In flower language, cactus means unpleasantness, something like a love that never blooms. Although it has function of storing water preventing it from being dry, it still wisely can be related. I think that there is a similar flower language in his world. I don't think the flower language match with this fatty thing. However, when I can't even remember my name and face, why can I remember this trivial thing? Do I really have a previous life? I pull my hand that touched the cactus, swinging it diagonally, cutting down the lower part. With the sharp cut, the cactus part falls on the ground. From the section, it seems like some kind of white liquid is spilling out. Inside the liquid, some kind of seed seems to be mixed too. Surprisingly, I might be able to eat this thing. First of all, should I use the status check? Cactus turpuper, value C.
T.
N. Cactus turpupa, cactus torpupa, maybe cactus turupa, but as usual water sucks at naming shingus. A type of plant that blooms on a special ground. On the ground that this plant blooms. Other plant will not grow up. Can absorb water, also has the ability to save the water indefinitely. Therefore, it will wither when it rains every day. For the fat appearance, there is a myth that the plant is the body of the baby of God. Cactus turpuper seems to be the unborn child full of thorn. Due to its characteristic, it usually grows on dry ground, in which the moisture of cactus turpuper are often found useful. Full of nutrients as well as strong sweet taste. However, because it will wither in a few days once it separates from the ground, it's not suitable for peddling. What the heck, this thing is totally edible. Against the me who already thinking of delicious ways to cook the centipede, there's this cold feeling. No, it seems like I was saved with this. Or rather, is it fine for a dragon to eat cactus? Although I care about the nutrients, I don't want my next evolution to go crazy because of this. Well, it seems to be a valuable water source for the time being. Should I fill my belly full? Although there is the sea, the water is impossible to drink. I put my hand on the rugged cactus, putting my teeth at the section and drinks the contents. It felt like pineapple juice thinned with water, as well as some aloe vera added to it, not to mention there's no sticky feeling to it. This is bad, it's a taste that makes me unable to live without it. Once I've eaten it, my hunger increases. The starvation seems to have stopped momentarily before, but now that my appetite had awakens, it seems to be shouting from the bottom of my stomach. I haven't been able to eat anything for a while now. Since it's troublesome to draw out the insides, I just bite the cactus's thick skin to get it. The thorn keeps hurting my gums, but I continue chewing on it without care to tear it off. Yep, the skin is unexpectedly edible too. Though the humans will die if they copy me. For the time being I eat up all of the ones that are scattering in the area. No, I keep on eating. But after all, it's still just a desert. Meat is necessary. Should I chase after the leopard that the large centipede also chase? While I was thinking about such thing, a pile of sand seems to start moving. What, is it a monster? Since the pile of sand seems to be on the size of my hand, it should be a considerably small monster. However, when I think about it, here's also the possibility of it having some kind of strange poison. I thought whether I should do the preemptive strike with scorching breath, but for the time being it's necessary for me to collect the information about the living thing here, thus I decided to fly backwards to take some distance. I won't be able to look at the status if it turns into charcoal after all. I only prepared the breath attack for when it springs up. I should be able to see where it came from even if it came at me with unbelievable speed. The pile of sand collapses, something sand-colored pop out its head from the inside. Phew. It's a strangely long-eared desert rabbit. There's no neck with round body. It shook its head, confirming the surroundings. However, because of its narrow view, it can only see at the range of 120 degrees. Since it pops its head on the opposite direction from me, it doesn't seem to have noticed me yet. I breathe a sigh of relief and crawl on the sand. Phew. It shakes its body while barking in a peculiar voice, dropping the sands. Chapter 100. Ball rabbit. What appeared in front of me was something the size of a softball. What the kind of rabbit is this? The body is round, with the hands and feet can't be seen inside the hairy ball. It approaches the piece of cactus while strangely rubbing its long ear that's dragging on the ground. Its round tail also swings left and right AF if to match the movements. It seems to be asleep while hiding under the sand, and the sweet fragrance of the cactus seems to wake it up. Well, considering it's such a harmless monster, getting to eat such a plant is pretty rare. Because the plant is fully covered with the thorn, there's no way such a small body will be able to tear it. Does it usually hide beside a cactus while other monster ate and tear the plant? For such a creature, its caution level is way too light. For the time being, let's confirm its status. Race Palmtop Ball Rabbit. Status normal. LV2/5. HP 4/4.
Mepe 3.
Attack 1. Defense 2. Magic 2. Speed 2. Rank F. Characteristic skill. Hiding LV1. Resistance skill. Hunger resistance LV4. Normal skill. Dig LV1 light LV1. Playing dead LV1. Title skill. Idol of the desert LV1 Kin Eater LV1.
T.
N. The kanji utu translates to tamasaji, tama directly meaning ball, but the kanji for the tama is also the one for jade, meaning jade rabbit is also plausible. However, as much as I want to call it jade rabbit, there's none of the characteristic of jade at all for this rabbit. It is round like a ball though, so yeah. I'll stick with ball for now. Yua, it's been a long time since I last seen this kind of status. How is it possible for it to be living in the desert that looks like the demon's lair? You can dig a hole even without the dig skill. Light is pretty useless as a mean to attack. There's no use in playing dead as they'll just pick you up to eat. Well, it's that huh? Such a small thing will never be able to fill the stomach. It brings its face close the contents of the cactus that has dropped on the ground and begins to eat by licking it. This guy too, it seems to have hunger resistance. Not to mention even raising it to LV4, it seems to have suffered a considerable amount of starvation to live. The LV won't go up if you don't fight, so it's pretty hard when you're at the bottom of the food chain. It's the same when I was just born into this world too. If I chose to run instead of fighting the dark worm, it's possible that I might still be an egg by now. When it's like that, I would probably keep on increasing my hunger resistance just like this rabbit. However, its LV still goes up. Just what did this fellow beat? It seems like it had some kind of unpleasant skill. Did this fellow eat its own kind after losing to starvation? It got a cute appearance, but it seems like it has gone through its own share of trouble. Well, it can't be helped once you're desperate, right? Although I do felt like eating right now, I really felt guilty when I see its face. Not to mention seeing its round belly. Would you be able to do it? Does it has low caution level, or does it went crazy because of the empty stomach? But it seems like it haven't noticed me at all who's standing behind it. It's possible that it's been living quite well till now. After stuffing its cheek full, it starts swallowing the cactus, finally exhaling a satisfied breath. Finally, after filling its stomach, it finally felt my presence, and with a slight shiver, it looks back towards me. My eyes matched with the ball rabbit.
Hipu?
The ball rabbit raises a small cry as it digs up a hole and hides itself under the sand. Digging a hole, or rather, it just covered its body with sand. The butt is completely out. I have no idea how many times I ask this, but how the heck is this kid able to survive? After observing the swelling pile of sand for a while, I began to walk in the opposite direction. I have no intention of doing anything to that ball rabbit. How to say it, it's the feeling of wanting it to work hard and survive. If such a monster pile up the experience one at a time, it will evolve someday. I really want to see the evolution system sometime. However, the feeling of wanting to devour it that should be growing inside me somehow doesn't happen. It somehow triggered my desire to protect it instead. No, but is it because it's small? I feel like I would be able to jump at it without reserve if it's bigger. Or rather, when you think about something absolutely delicious, it should be the fat one. I could also raise it like a farmer. I should serve the gross-looking monster to the ball rabbit until it became totally fat, but somehow, I don't know if I would be able to eat it once I become more attached to the fatty one. After I walked a few more steps, I heard a rustling sounds from the back. Oi oi, be patient, will you? It's only been 5 seconds from when I turned my back. Rustle, 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 rustle. It's not the sound of a rabbit, huh? I turned around. A scorpion the size of a medium-sized dog can be seen approaching the ball rabbit. Although how it suddenly appeared, when I trace where it moved, I was able to confirm that there's a hollow in the sand. Does this guy also digs a hole to hide itself? How careless can you be, me? For now, shall I confirm the monster's status? Baby scorpion, ranky plus monster. Hiding by covering its body in the sand, it's an assassin of the desert who aims for the careless prey by stabbing them with poison stinger. Though it evolved into a smaller body after evolution, it excels at aiming at the weak spot after being able to hide its body from powerful enemy. Iranka, so it should be around the same as the gray wolf. Or rather, yeah. The strong one hiding aiming for the weak, could you not do it now? What a timing.
N.
The second paragraph is not really that accurate.
That's my best guess.
You should have just leave. Or rather, if I don't get involved, it could have been a funny story. Me in particular, have no intention of eating the scorpion. The surface seems hard, I'm not really into eating bug-like thing, and there's the poison too. Because I already had the ball rabbit, I don't want to eat the scorpion. Yet, is it presumptuous of me to interfere with the desperate hunting of other creatures? However, before I noticed it, my body involuntarily moved. I bend my body and approaches, abruptly swing down my arm. A small sound escalated. My claw easily goes through the back of the shell and sticks to the sand, fixing the scorpion in place. The hand and feet of the scorpion trembled without power and stopped before long. Because the rank difference is too much, the experience value can't be obtained. Ooh, first time I'm seeing this kind of message. Despite beating such a low rank, I'm B rank after all. Is there such a thing too? Although I had thought that the obtainable experience value would be low, were they reduced with the rank difference? However, I can neither turn it into experience value nor turn it into food. This is literally a useless killing. Just like when I throw the vase turtle down the cliff, there's a slight sense of guilt. Although I might get affected by the poison status, should I endure and eat it? If lucky, I might resist it. Let's at least do a proper burial. As I finish the baby scorpion, the ball rabbit which crawls out of the sand pile to run away stops moving, quietly staring at me.
Phew.
The ball rabbit approaches me while dragging its ear which hung down restlessly. It seems to have recognized that I had helped it. Since traveling alone is lonely, should I take it with me since it's special? No, however, I don't have any confidence that I can protect this fellow. If I took it, I will protect it. However, not just my action will be largely limited, it's going to be hard if it died after I became attached to it. These 2 points is really critical. Not to mention there's dragon scale powder too. However, if I leave it, it will probably be eaten for real this time. While I'm worried about what I should do, I remember the skill of the ball rabbit, dig. If the ball rabbit evolves, won't it be possible for it to dig underground to set up the base? If that is the case, one of the difficult point of making underground base has been removed. If I raise the LV of the ball rabbit and evolve it, it should be satisfied of the help that allows it to live in this desert. In return, I will have the evolved moon rabbit dig my base. If this goes well, before the effect of dragon scale powder take place, we should be able to cleanly go the separate ways after benefiting each other. If the sign of sickness starts to appear, we will separate in the middle, but I don't know what will happen if I don't try it. Thinking about the people who had been affected by the dragon scale powder so far, I think that the effect should be considerably slow. It might be my desire to investigate this. I have only used the plague breath once all the time during my journey. This time I won't use it even once. Although I don't want to keep on having this unpleasant feeling, I want to avoid it at all cost.